welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of my story on how I came to know the Lord and how my walk with Him has grown to where it is today. If you haven't watched part 1, I will add the link here and I suggest you go and listen to that one, as that is my testimony from child to the day Brent and I got married. To replay a little, we were married back in May of 2018, and just a month or so later we found out we were pregnant. Near the end of August, at just 12 weeks, we lost the pregnancy and it shook me to my core. I was a wreck for months to come. In December of that year, I found out that a dear friend of mine was also expecting, and I really struggled to be excited for her. I questioned God on why my baby had to die. In the fall of 2019, we found out we were expecting again, and I couldn't be excited, not till we were past the first trimester. January of 2020, it really started to hit that this baby was going to live, and now I was super excited. We had a relatively healthy/normal pregnancy with a few question marks regarding the ultrasound. We knew baby had a unilateral clubbed foot and that baby wouldn't cooperate during the ultrasound. Basically, they couldn't get a proper look at baby's arms. We got to the point where my doctor said we know baby is healthy and whatever is going on with baby's arms, we can worry about once I gave birth. At 36 weeks, we were told baby was breech and that I would require a C-section. And since my platelets were so low, I would be asleep. June 26th, the day after my 24th birthday, I went into labor. I was 37 weeks and 4 days. Keep that in mind. They rushed me to surgery, and 20 minutes later, we had a beautiful baby boy. 3 days later, we were flown to BC Children's Hospital because our baby had an infection, and he definitely had some sort of disability that needed to be diagnosed. We were in the NICU for 3 weeks, and since it was COVID, we couldn't have any visitors. Fast forward a full year of learning how to parent a handicapped child and learning what arthrogryposis multiplex congenita was. I have a whole playlist on that if you're curious. We have now arrived to June 2021. Pregnant again, and we were so excited, only to miscarry again around 9 weeks. I should also mention that we are quite certain we had a chemical pregnancy in March of 2021. We had a positive pregnancy test, then I was late. Shortly after, we had a negative test, so I was devastated and questioned God as to why this happened again. I spent a lot of time praying that we would have another baby, but to no avail, it wasn't happening. We had 2 more chemical pregnancies in 2022, one in April and another in May. By now, I wanted another baby so bad. I was obsessed with tracking, taking way too many pregnancy tests, and was borderline depressed when it was negative each month. That September, we got another positive, and now I had really high hopes. I really believed this baby would stick and we'd finally have our rainbow baby. We were devastated to find out in October that baby had died around 8 to 9 weeks. I hit rock bottom. Right before we found out baby had died, that same friend I spoke about earlier had just welcomed their second baby. My heart was so broken that I couldn't even go to the meet and greet for this precious baby. I became angry and snapped at Brent. At Thanksgiving, I went as far as to admit to him and my 2-year-old son that I had nothing to be thankful for. My doctor said it was time to figure out why we kept losing our pregnancies, but I wasn't ready. My heart was just so broken. I needed time to heal. That Christmas, I threw myself into YouTube and filmed my very first Christmas series. I thought I was emotionally healed because I had so much fun that December. On Christmas Day, our pastor preached on the joy of the Christian. So in my mind, if I was sad and would cry over my last pregnancy, I didn't have joy and I wasn't being a very good Christian. What is it, buddy? So through November and December, I suppressed my feelings and emotions and kept busy as to appear happy and joyful. After that message, it hit me. I could have joy and still grieve all my babies in heaven. We got home from church and I walked straight to the bathroom and cried. I had a good cry. I thanked God that I could grieve this baby and still have joy. I opened up to Brent about it all and cried again. When Christmas was over, I told my doctor I was ready to start testing why I couldn't carry my babies longer than 12 weeks. And interestingly enough, during January, February, and March, our pastor was going through a series on revival, and we listened to a message by Lou Sutera on praying specific prayers. And the one thing that he pointed out was just tell God what you want. And Honestly, I failed in that area for the past few years because I kept telling him, Lord, I want another baby. Lord, I want another baby. I wasn't praying very specifically. So we got home from church after listening to that message, and I remember telling God, Lord, I want to have another baby this year. I want to be pregnant by my birthday, which was in June, and I don't care how far along I am. I just want to be pregnant by my birthday. So March of 2023, I got my first panel of labs done on cycle day 23. My second panel had to be done on cycle day 2 or 3. However, cycle days 2 and 3 never came because 2 days after my first test, we found out we were pregnant again. I wasn't excited at all. I called my doctor again and he said we would be closely monitored and they would start me on progesterone around week 6 and see if that would help. When we made it to 10 weeks, I had signs of miscarrying again. They tried to do a bedside ultrasound in the ER but couldn't find anything. I was devastated. A few days later, I went in for another ultrasound to see if the baby was still there and when baby had died. I had zero hope walking into that room. The ultrasound tech started the scan and went, She then said, "You are measuring right along." She turned the screen and showed me the heartbeat. I was shocked. It was the best surprise ever. Turns out the progesterone I was on and overexerting myself can cause miscarriage-like symptoms, if you catch my drift. We had a very successful VBAC on November 4th and delivered a healthy baby girl. She was our true answer to prayer. Our delivery was everything we had prayed for. I have links to her birth story here for you to watch if you want to. 4 months later, we found out we were pregnant again, and we were totally shocked. I had to stop nursing Lily because the nausea meds I need to be on to cope can pass through my milk and I would make Lily drowsy. That was a super hard decision to make because I couldn't nurse Connor, and things with Lillian were going really well. She made the transition very well, which I'm thankful for, but I still struggled. The pregnancy started out normal, but my 20-week scan we were told baby had something called fetal macrosomia, which in simple terms meant she was measuring over the 97th percentile. And they suspected I had gestational diabetes, so I was put on a very strict diet. I had a doctor, not mine, but his colleague, tell me no carbs or too much protein and lots of fruit and veggies. I ate like this for 2 weeks and was constantly hungry and miserable. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my OBGYN and she said, yes, baby is measuring bigger, but I did not have fetal macrosomia and to eat normally. Also, I didn't have gestational diabetes. At 33 weeks, we found out baby was breech, so a C-section had to happen. And that story is all shared in her birth story. But to sum it up, because of all that experience, I fell into postpartum depression, which I also have a video of. And that brings us to today. I share this all with you because looking back on it, I can so clearly see where the Lord has worked and drawn me closer to Him. I still struggle with a lot of things, but I ask for help and accountability from either my husband or friends and family. And with God, I know all things are possible. So thank you for watching. I hope my story was an encouragement to you, and I will see you all in the next video.